post it up. Okay, so we will wait for some people to pop on here. I like how to tiptoe downstairs and open up the basement or the door so that Blake wouldn't hear me and come back up.
Layton is in the living room with no pants on because that's like the only way she's been going on the toilet, just like naked. And so I tried it today and she pooped on the toilet and I'm like, okay. She woke up from her nap. I took her pull-up off and so she's out there and all I can hear is my dad saying, you're not going to be on the floor, right? You're not going to be on the floor, right? I'm like, Dad, she gets it. I'm like, lock her out of here so she doesn't come in here. She already came in here once.
That's what we've been doing with Blake too. Like I just let him run around the house naked so he doesn't pee on the floor.
It's the only thing that's been working.
Oh, okay. So we'll get going since I've already wasted like 20 minutes of everyone's time.
It's okay.
So maybe we'll just start like with Caitlin and I will just kind of share our story basically about like how we met. So like we were both pregnant at the time. So I had met Caitlin on Instagram actually.
Yep.
And I really wanted to talk about this because Caitlin did a really good job earlier about talking about how we don't just like randomly message people to invite them to get to our groups. And I think like that's a huge like misconception because let's be honest, like all of our inboxes are filled with people that are like, hey, hey girl, how are you? And you're like, I have no clue who you are. So we were both pregnant at the time. I think Layton's like a month older than Blake, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I just happened to like stumble across Caitlin's page and, I was working my business and Caitlin reminded me of myself. And she was someone that I could relate to. So we had started following each other on Instagram and just kind of conversed back and forth, shared our pregnancies and whatnot. And, we built that relationship and we built that trust before I actually talked to her about anything Beachbody related. I don't know if you want to chime in a little bit, Caitlin, about.
Yeah, and it was never like a weird, like, oh, she's just following because she wants to sell me something. It was like I was watching her fit pregnancy, and to me that was like insane just because I'd never really seen anybody work out while they were pregnant. And it's, it's not like Instagram was new, but it was just like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like I could never do that. And then I was like, I don't know how many months, 5 months postpartum or something. I'm just like at my wit's end. And I think you posted about a cleanse, the 3-day refresh. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I ended up getting that, but that's what I saw. I kept seeing, like little things here and there, but it wasn't like we started chatting without, I think I might've reached out because of that. But we just kind of talked and it was never like, oh yeah, I have this going on. Like, do you want to sign up for this? Like, it just was mutual, like, and it wasn't even that we had like babies the same age. We were just like both busy moms, like brand new moms, basically, because your first is just like crazy. And it was just nice, especially since I was on the road. Like we were in California and I didn't have anybody there at all. And going through that like newborn stage, I mean, she was 5 months old, but that's still like postpartum and like nursing all the time. And it was just like, you're alone. Like I was alone all day. And so I was like, oh, somebody like me, but it wasn't ever like she was just trying to talk to me because she wanted to sell me something. It was like mutual, like, oh, I'm going to make a friend. And then we've just grown like closer ever since. And we had tons of conversations before I signed up. It wasn't like a one and done, like, okay, fine, I'll sign up. Like we got to know each other. And then it took me forever to even sign up, which is normal for about 75% of the people. It'd be like, oh, they didn't message me back, or they wrote my message and didn't say anything. Right when I got to talking about the challenge pack, they'll eventually sign up. Usually that's what happens. But I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then it took me like 2 weeks and I finally did. But yeah, it was just on Instagram and it wasn't anything like awkward, like shouldn't show up my inbox. Nowadays, I feel like, I don't know if it's that, which I like their activewear, Zaya,
Oh, I love their activewear.
Every day. And they're almost the same, like format, like it's like, hi, my name is this from this. And then it's like, either asking me to host like a pop-up shop, which is fine. But some of them are like, oh, they don't look at my profile, which I don't want my profile to scream like I'm a coach, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't like when people don't like take the time to like see who you are first, And that's what we do.
That's exactly what we do. Like Caitlin and I, like we met last year, you guys, at Summit. So every year, Beachbody has a big coaching event. And last year it was in Indianapolis. It's there this year again. But anyways, so last year was the first time we've ever met each other, and it was like we've known each other for years. Like I know everything about Kyla and Layton and like her personal life. And it was never awkward. Like you go to these events and you're with people that you've never met besides online. So like the community and the team that we have is just, it's surreal. And like my husband like never doubted like my safety while I was 10 hours away. Like it's just a very like tight knit group. And you would think like we grew up together, and we haven't. Like Caitlin's in Idaho, in Iowa.
Yeah. And that's like how I would explain it too. Like you'd think we grow up together, and it's like, you talk about it, you're like, oh, I made my best friends, and people are probably like, yeah, whatever. Like you just like do, like sell stuff together, but we don't. Like, it's not even about like just being friends because we're all successful. Like we're all on like different parts of our journey. Some of us, are actively really working the business. Some of us are not, but we're all just like, it just comes natural, like the friendship. Like when I think of like my 10 closest friends, like 75% of that is coaches, and it's not like when I talk about people, I'm not like, oh, my coach friend. It's like my best friend, like, cause you're with them and you're not like forced to talk to them every day or anything like that. But like you want to, because having people on like that same journey as you, no matter how different it is just like refreshing, especially when you get to like your 20s. Like I'm 25, and the people you don't talk, you might talk to like 2 or 3 people from high school or child and stuff, but it kind of gets to the point where you're like, my circles kind of like get smaller and smaller. Well, with coaching now, it's gotten bigger, even though majority of the girls live hours and hours and hours away from me. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't make it feel any different.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I think maybe what we'll move on to is maybe like kind of like what we do and like how much time we spend. Cause like when I went live on my earlier today, like I talked, like Caitlin and I, we're very similar, but we're also different in the aspect of like what our day-to-day looks like. So a little bit of like, so like right now I'm on maternity leave. So my time right now is a little bit different than what it normally is when I work. Like I work 12-hour shifts. I leave at 5:45 in the morning, and I don't get home till 8 o'clock at night. So, I know some of you girls on here are probably thinking like, I don't have time to work a business. Like I work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, or maybe you do 12-hour shifts, weekends, holidays, whatever it may be. And for me and for Caitlin, and I'll have her talk about kind of like what her day looks like too. It's basically essentially just working in power pockets of your day. Like earlier, Caitlin touched base on like, we share our shakes, we share our workouts. Like that to us is part of our work. And that's just part of your daily routine. Like you get up, you work out, you plan your meals. Obviously we eat every day, so share that. So like for me, I have a very like structured schedule. For me, on the days that I work, I don't necessarily sit down and actually maybe invite or work my business. For me, my work is getting up, doing my workout, sharing my meals. I check in with my group of girls on our challenge tracker app. I check in with my challengers just to see how they're doing. And I follow up with messages. And that's really essentially all I have time for, just because there's really not a whole lot of extra time in that day. And then on my days off, I maybe work my business a little bit harder than I normally do. And that's just because I'm making up for time that I've lost on the days that I work. And it's not overwhelming by any means. And I want to make that clear that if you guys, hopefully, fingers crossed, you all decide to do this with us, we have that structured setup. We have like a daily tracker where we can track what we do on a daily basis. So we check off, hey, did I work out? Did I share it? Did I go in and check in with my girls? Did I, start 5 new friendships or whatever it is today? And that's really essentially all it is. So don't feel like you have to just jam pack your entire day based upon Beachbody. Like that's not what this is about. Like it's simply sharing like your story in your life and just fitting Beachbody into your life. Not changing your life because of Beachbody, but
Mm-hmm.
how can you fit it into your daily life? So I'll let you kind of go.
Yep. Yeah. And to touch base on that, like I've been telling my girls like the past month just on our team calls talking about like social media and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I don't expect anybody to just go on their Instagram and only talk about workouts and coaching and all of this. Like when you're talking about, like, I am not, as a coach, I'm not just like making new friends out of challengers and coaches just because of, you know, coaching. Like I, as a mom, like love the community and like being able to connect with other moms, because as a stay-at-home mom, like there's so many other stay-at-home moms out there just like me who probably felt like I did before, and they're like, oh, I need like a friend or somebody to just work out with or something like that. And what better way to, you know, be friends than to like work out and get healthy and happy together. But I was gonna say something I like totally forgot. But talking about that, what I was telling them is like, you don't want, you know, we're not, I don't expect anybody to just post about all that stuff and share all that stuff all the time. It's a mix of that stuff into your daily life. So like you see us posting pictures of like our family and like Darcy's job and like her home life and my home life and us traveling and like food and doing what we do on a daily basis. I'm like, I go to Target, I take a picture. Like it's just, but it's because I really want people to relate to me at a real and raw level. Like I share when things are tough. I share when things are great. Like all the in between, you know what I mean? Like I never try to be that perfect person on Instagram. But my normal day, I guess, since I'm usually always home, is just I try to wake up before Layton, because I stay at home. Obviously, we don't have like a ton of time during the day, but try to wake up before her. Usually, I always do, even if it's just like 20 minutes before her, and read my personal development, which is huge in this business. Just working on you from the inside out, and then, you know, I kind of get ready with her, give her breakfast and stuff. Right now we're working out together because these workouts are only 20 minutes. So it's not like total and utter chaos. And then usually my other time when to work really is when she naps. And that's when I actually like, I'm usually here I'm just sitting on the couch because I don't have an office. Sometimes when I'm home, I go into my office. But I usually use that for like team calls and after she goes to bed, if I'm like planning some group or something like that. But I'll go in there, do messages, you know, maybe shoot an invite out there on my stories or something. If I haven't uploaded my workout yet, I'll upload it. Because sometimes you just finish your workout and you just don't have time to get right back on your phone. So my workout's just saved on my phone, and I'll upload that. But usually throughout the day, it's just in pockets of time. Like Layton's eating lunch and I already ate lunch. So I go on my phone and I'll respond to a message or something, or I'll check in with my challengers. That's a great thing too, is whenever you sign somebody up with you, they're a challenger in your accountability group, whatever you want to call it, however you want to run it. They're all in there. So they're logging their workouts and their shakes every day, and it's just in an app. And you can go in there and see, hey, this girl logged. You can go in there and comment on there and say like, great job, or just go in and like if you only have a minute. And you can plan all of your posts. So it's not like something that's super time consuming all the time. But it's a really easy way to keep up with your challengers and also see maybe who's fallen off track and check in with them. But it's not super time consuming. Like I was just talking to Darcy the other day. I'm like, we don't like make our own hours. Like I don't have to be like, oh, how much time should I be coaching today? You know, like I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go get a coffee or go do this. Like I'm not like, oh, but I have to sit down and do this today. You know, there's days where I have to crank out stuff, but there's certain days of the week, like usually when it's like Tuesdays and Thursdays when Layton's at school, I'm like, those are my work days. Like that's half the reason we put her in school, you know? But lately she hasn't been going to school because we've been here. So you just make time, you know? And it's just not like, it's not a stressful thing. Like we just go with the flow, you know, and it works. You just have to figure out your routine and your schedule and what works best for you and just work in those pockets of time. But really all comes down to just sharing your day, making sure you're sharing your workout and things that come to mind when you read your personal development and just inspiring things, you know.
Just perfect. And I like the fact that you touch base on like planning our posts. So like, I know you guys see us like if you're in one of our accountability groups, you see us like posting every single day. both of us, what I do is usually every Sunday, if it's my weekend to work, then Monday is more like my work day. But I pre-plan my posts for the entire week in my challenge group or my accountability group. That way I have extra time later. I can go in and I can interact with the girls a little bit more. And I'm not waking up every day thinking, okay, what am I going to post today? Like, it's just like simple pre-planning like that. So if you have a whole week, 7 days is all you have to do. One little post for every day.
Yep.
So it's not stressful by any means. Like, and I really want to make that clear. Like, there are MLMs out there where you have to like meet a certain quota and, you know, you have to sell so much product, and that, like, Beachbody is complete opposite. Like, yes, you have incentives for helping so many people. And I think for most of us coaches, we make it a goal to help one woman every single week. Just one. Get on
and it's
and shakes.
Yeah. And it's not like a pushy thing either. Like, the thing I loved about coming onto Darcy's team is that she pushed me just as much as I wanted to be pushed. Like, she was never like, Caitlin, like, why haven't you gotten 2 girls signed up? Like, never, ever have I been like, God, I'm failing at this business, because, you know what I mean? Like, you make goals for yourself. And yeah, there's been so many times in my business, really like my first year, where I just my head wasn't completely in it. Like, there were times where I was like, why am I doing this? Because one, I wasn't being consistent, right? I didn't have, you know, I wasn't getting into trainings, wasn't going on team calls. Like, it just was a year that I wasn't really focused, right? And so I was like, is this what I should be doing? Of course it was. Like, in this year, it's just the last year I've been like so like passionate and fired up, and I know this is exactly what I should be doing, but you just can see how you were before, and you're like, I know what I was doing differently, you know? But it's nice because, like Darcy said, like, I do the same thing on Sundays, or sometimes if I have a really busy day on Sunday, we usually have like family days or we travel. So on Tuesday when Leighton goes to school is when I plan, and I just plan a whole week, and it's easy. Like, they're not super, you know, extensive posts, but they're just like, you know, you can make it however you want to. You can have a focus for the month. Like, I want to run a monthly group. So does Darcy. You know, like, obviously this month is more focused on like me and Shelly are doing daily tips every single day, and just kind of talking about, you know, the new year and stuff like that. But it does not take very long. And then all you have to do is just go in there a couple times a day. Like, I try to do it at like nap time and then at bedtime, because by that time everybody has usually logged for the day, and I can check in with all of them and see how they're doing, you know, and you have notifications and stuff. So they tag you or comment on your post and stuff like that. And you can do prizes. Oh my gosh, my dad's dog. But also I wanted to add too. So my Kevin, he literally just barks at the dumbest things. Like, my success partner, Shelly, who is on Darcy's team with me, just works out at the gym. So Brianna, that's on here right there, she works out at the gym. And we can't hear you, just so you know. She can be loud and stuff. You're muted. It's okay. But she works out at the gym, and so I've like followed her, and I'm like, oh, she's an awesome coach, but you always just never know that if, you know, somebody who's so passionate about the gym. But the thing is like, you can literally work out at the gym every single day. You don't have to do like, there's a ton of programs you can do, like kind of follow at the gym, but like Shelly mixes up whatever program she's doing. Like right now she's doing Transform 20, but I've seen her like in Lift 4, but then she'll go and just do her own leg day, but she'll share that on her stories and stuff. Like, she'll share her workouts, like she'll share how she mixes like her Shakeology and her Recover for more protein. You know, she has like a bulking season and a cut season, just like you do. And it's really awesome to watch. And so she connects with so many women who are doing the same thing, or who love the gym. Like maybe 25% of the time she works out at home if she needs to, because she's a nurse too. But the other half, she's at the gym and she records herself at the gym, and she's just found that perfect like place, you know what I mean? So it's awesome. Like, I love having her running my groups, because I'm like, Shelly does this, like, it's totally possible. We're so different, but we like mesh so well, you know?
Yeah, which I love, because I don't want anyone ever to feel like, oh, I have to be stuck at home. Like, we take our workouts everywhere. Like, before Mila was born, I would take Blake to the Y. He would go to the Y daycare, and I would do my workout on my app. Like, so versatile. But anyways, so maybe we'll move into income a little bit because I know everyone's always like, oh, like, what's the income opportunity?
Yeah.
So like a little disclaimer, Beachbody always wants us to tell everyone that, your income solely is based upon like, obviously the work you put into it. So I always like to tell everyone
I
that
don't know if it's
Beachbody is definitely not like a get rich quick scheme. Like you have other MLMs out there and other network marketing businesses where, they give you all these big bonuses. If you sign this, they're just pushing product and pushing product. And, the income comes with time. And the income is going to come, if you work your business hard, the income potential is there. It comes with consistency, and really it's just all in a matter of just being passionate. And if you are passionate about helping other women and you get other women to join your team and work the business just as passionately as you can, there is great potential. You get 25% off of all products. You make 25% commission, and then there's team bonuses and everything. And we're not going to get into that because that'll just confuse you guys. But so when I started doing this, I simply just kind of signed up for the discount. I wanted to save 25% on the products that I was using. And this was before we had like Energize and all that. So it was simply just to save on my shakes. I've been in Beachbody for going on like 5 years. But I've only actually worked the business fully for about 3 years. And that's part-time hours, you guys. I'm working full-time. And like the income I'm making in a week what I make in 2 weeks as a nurse. And that's just to show you guys that there is income potential. But I also don't want to tell you that, hey, when you sign up, you're going to make this much money just by signing up. I put in hard work.
Yep.
I have great girls on my team, and I have a lot of great women that I have the blessing to help. And that's truly what it is for me, it's a blessing to my family and to my team to be able to be surrounded by such a great group of women. And, there were times when I first started where I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have time for this. And that was just because I wasn't putting in the time into the right things that I should be doing. I spent so much time watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out what I needed to do to make money fast that I was wasting time. And we actually created a coach training website for all of you. So when you sign up, you have everything laid out for you, from income like we're talking about, to your websites, to social media, to pictures. Everything is in 21 videos I think we made, and they're all like under 20 minutes. Yeah. So we have a really awesome self-paced training that you guys would do. And we have a really good one on income. So I just wanted to touch base on where I came from, and just that, I put in a lot of hard work to get where we are at. But have I taken time away from my family? Absolutely not. My family is number one. I maybe have made sacrifices such as not watching a certain show at night, but I never cancel plans or don't spend time with my kids or my husband because my life revolves around Beachbody. It may look like my life revolves around Beachbody, but on social media, I'm sharing. Yesterday I shared because I was crying over selling cows, for crying out loud. I share that type of stuff so you guys can see that we are real, and that type of stuff attracts people that can relate to you. And in return, you build a business. You get women on your team that want to do the same thing you're doing. And that's when the income potential really hits you. So I'll let you, Caitlin, talk about where you came from.
And literally being present, talking about being present, right now is the only time I've ever and when we do things like this, if Layton's awake, it's the only time I ever do this instead of playing with her. And she's playing with her dad and grandpa. There's my team calls on Mondays are when she's asleep. So are Darcy's. It's just, there's never any time taken away besides literally the only time I've spent away from Layton is Summit. And that was like me, like her when she grows up, I'd love to tell her like, yeah, mommy went on this work trip. And that's why, you know, we can have these things in our life and that, you know what I mean? Like so much structure and a future and all of that. And it's just nice to know. I don't know. I never really knew what I wanted to do out of high school. I kind of like went back and forth, went to college, then went to dental assisting school and did that and just hated it, hated being gone all day, not getting paid anything at all, you know, being sore and leaning over and just not enjoying what I was doing. And I was like, you know, at Kyler, and thankfully he has blessed us with so much and really supports us a lot. But now I can support us too. And that's not something that just goes away. Say I got sick or something, or I got hurt or what? Layton?
See, minor interruption.
What? What? Dad, I can't hear you. What did you say? Okay, don't let her get into that. I don't even know what she was saying. You said to go to my diaper bag and ate a cookie or something. Awesome. Okay. Anyways, I can't remember what I was saying now.
About how you went to
What was I
Summit.
saying?
Oh, and then you're talking about your dental.
I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I hated it. And I was watching a story the other day, and I wanted to mention this too, because the girl was like, she was a dental assistant too, or like a front office person. And she's like, 2 years ago at our Christmas party, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to get a bonus. You know, I worked so hard. And she was like, we went to this dinner and everybody got a piece of like Ghirardelli chocolate. And that was our bonus. And she was like, I'm literally like replaceable. Like I could quit the next day and nobody would even care. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? And there's jobs like that. Obviously, there's also awesome jobs. Like obviously Darcy has an awesome job and stuff like that. But like where I was at, it just wasn't like, you're just not anybody really special. And so I'm like, what? You know, I loved being like work with people and support other people, but nothing has ever given me so much than coaching, like than what coaching does. It has. And being able to really just pick your own hours and work when you want to, but also be really diligent about it, you know, and smart about the hours or minutes or whatever you're putting in each day. It just has changed everything. And like Darcy said, I make right now what I made in 2 weeks. You know, I didn't even make like I'll say like today actually was my biggest paycheck ever. And but literally I've been like celebrating that for like the past month. And then before that, it's so fun to just be like, oh, I've never made this much before. Okay, I've never made this much before. But I've really noticed that like even this morning I didn't wake up and I was like, oh my God, Caleb, like I made this much money. It was just like, for one, I was like, I just want to work harder. Like I just want to work harder. And I was telling the girls the same thing. And I'm just like, okay, like go check in with my girls. Like it's not like a money thing for me so much. Like it has helped us so much. But at this point, it's like, how can I get my girls to also be celebrating things like this? Like that's the whole thing in this business, is growing your team and letting them letting them quit their jobs and find, you know, that financial freedom, whatever it is. And just that like fire in their hearts. And it's just funny because I've been coaching for 2 years and I could have done probably where I'm at now. I could have been there in a year if I would have worked like I have the last, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that first year, I swear I just like wasted it, you know, like I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I sit here and I'm like, I wish I had this when I was pregnant with Layton but I'm glad that I joined when I did and I didn't hesitate, because it's an opportunity that I wish that everybody would just try, you know. It's just one of those, like, I don't know how to explain it.
It's just like every time you hit a milestone, it makes you more passionate to like share your story even more.
Yeah.
And I think like that was my biggest thing, like after Blake, I'm like, okay, I want to share this like more. I want to help more moms. Mm-hmm. Like this has like filled a huge, like a void that I didn't know existed until I found this.
Yep. Yep. And it really, like, obviously the money comes with like how hard you work, and that doesn't mean you're gonna make a ton of money if you put in 6 hours a day or 10 hours a day. You know what I mean? It's just working smarter with the time that you have. You know, there's moms out there who work, you know, all day like Darcy normally does, and there's, you know, 20 7-year-olds just like me who stay home and say, whoever's working smarter is going to be more successful and more the one who's being more consistent. Doesn't matter how much time you have. It's just about, you can have a rockin' like power hour, 1 hour a day, and grow your business every single day. And that's just all there is to it. Like, doesn't matter how much time you have, like you have time to do this business because nobody's forcing you to put 3 hours a day into your business. Nobody's going to ask you, well, how many hours a day do you work your business? No, they're going to say, well, how consistent have you been? Like, are you sharing your shakes? And the first question I always ask is like, if my girls are struggling, like, how's your journey? How are your workouts? How are you feeling? All these questions. And then it's usually like, well, my journey isn't going very well. Like, I've been slacking on my workouts and I've just been feeling like crap. And I feel like it's a direct reflection of, your business too, because you want, you're showing other women how to feel better and how you have felt better, and it just starts with you, because your journey is the one that you're sharing.
And that's one thing that like my coach always told me, like, okay, when you get home at night and you either have a choice to get your workout in or sit down and invite some people or, check in with your challengers, you always do you first. So you always go get your workout done. Because if you're feeling like crap, like Caitlin said, like that's a direct reflection on your business. And, really like, when you guys sign up as coaches, like we are still here pushing you in your own fitness journey. Like that is ultimately our goal, is that self-love and that self-help first, because you're just going to have that pay it forward and that ripple effect on everybody else that you're around. So, don't feel like, hey, if I join this coaching gig, that we would never still support you in your fitness journey. Like that is always number one for us.
Yeah.
And that's going to be that direct reflection that you need for a successful business. So, but all right. Maybe we'll kind of open it up to questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, I didn't have any. I had a girl. She was going to let me know if she had, not Brianna, but someone else. She hasn't said anything. Also, so yeah, you get 25% off all of your products. Which is really nice. And you get like a cheaper shipping with like your home direct. Like it's very different than what you pay normally. And then you get 25% off or 25% commission. You get a different, like, so usually when somebody signs up with you, you want to always recommend a challenge pack. I call them fit packs now. But it basically gives you like a bundle. So you get a year membership to Beachbody On Demand, which is endless amounts of workouts. They've been adding so many new programs too. It's like so much bigger than it's ever been. Meal plans, all that stuff. Obviously the spot in your, what? Oh, dang it. I know I'm breaking up. It's showing me that. Okay. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're fine on our end.
Oh, okay. Well, so my internet connection was unstable. Like the spot in your accountability groups every month. And just so you know, when you sign up as a coach too, you're not expected to just start running your own accountability group. Like if you sign up under Darcy, go to Darcy's group, you can add your girls in there when you start sharing. If you're under me, go in my group. Like you learn as you go. And then when you're comfortable enough, like I was in Darcy's group for, I don't know how long, 3 months, 4 months?
Something like that.
Maybe longer than that. Yeah. And then I started my own with Shelly. But usually I sign up with that and you either get Shakeology or the performance line with Energize and Recover. There's packs where you can get all 3. There's packs where you can get more supplements. I have some challengers who you have like the creatine, and there's like nighttime protein, what's it called? Recharge. There's a ton of stuff, right? So there's a ton of package options, but that you get a different commission on. It's like a set price, and right? I don't think it's 25%.
No,
it's like
it depends on, well,
it's more.
Depends on which one. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah. But it just, it kind of depends. And then like memberships. So somebody's just on like a workout membership, that's 40% commission, right? Remember right? Or like 39%
kind of bumps
or something
around.
like that. So yeah. And the video and the coach training covers all of that too.
Yes.
So,
and I want you guys to like
I've been doing my.
Go ahead. Sorry, you're like freezing.
Oh, see. Since I'm at my dad's, I've been doing all my team calls on my bed because Layton's been awake because we're the time difference, and I get so like cramped up.
Because
Stretch
you're
my
sitting in
legs.
a cushy spot.
Oh, okay, keep going.
No, it's fine. Well, what I
Yeah,
wanted to
I know, I
tell
need
you
to get
guys is
pillow.
don't ever feel like the fear is going to hold you back, because you're never ever alone. Like, this whole coaching thing is about as fast or as slow as you want to go. And when I started, I had, like, we call this success partners. So I started working my business with another coach. Same with, like, Caitlin, when she always says me and Shelly, that's her success partner. So she runs challenge groups with Shelly, just doing just little different, like, business building activities where you have that partner to kind of like bounce ideas off of. And yeah, you can start by adding girls into our accountability groups. And whenever you feel like you're confident enough, you can start doing your own accountability group. And, if having like a partner to run the business with is something that you would be interested in, we would get you set up with a newer coach. Usually we like to keeping new coaches
Yeah.
together. And we can help find that person that meshes well with you, because that's important. Like, Shelly and Caitlin, like, they're so opposite, but like they work so well together. So just know that, if this is something
Yep.
that you guys decide to do, that, we're here. We're here to lead you along the way. Like I said, we have that training website where you can just jump in and it's kind of go at your own pace. And you're never, ever, ever alone. Like, Caitlin and I both have team calls. Like, Caitlin's is every Monday, mine's every other Monday. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be overwhelmed with team calls and trainings, and how am I going to learn everything? I mean, 3 years of downright coaching, I'm still learning stuff every single day. Like, social media is constantly changing. I mean, obviously Beachbody is throwing out new programs, so we're having to learn new programs. And I mean, it's a constant learning process, but we do it together. So
Yep.
anything to add to that?
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, you're really never alone. Like, yeah, we both have team pages. So like when you join either one of us, you get put into our team page and like everybody's on there. You can ask for advice on there, even if it's not like, it's not always just about cooking, it's about life,
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I wanted to touch base on is like everybody who started their business, including me and Darcy, were like terrified. Like, what are my friends going to think? Are they just going to think I'm another Beachbody coach? Or like, why are you doing that? Like, I was thinking about this today, and Rachel Hollis is something Rachel Hollis said, but she was like, other people's opinions have nothing to do with you, or are none of your business. And that's really true. Like, if any of my friends started a new endeavor, whatever, I would just support them. You know what I mean? But that's just me. There's going to be people out there who are kind of toxic, and you kind of figure that out. But I personally never had to figure that out with Beachbody. Like, I never had anybody that was like, oh, why are you, oh, you're doing that? It was just support. And you'll find that there's a lot of people out there who will support you, even people that you haven't talked to in forever will message you and say, oh, I just love seeing your posts and stuff like that, because we just throw out positivity and, inspiration and stuff like that, because we all come from struggles, and they're all different struggles, but we just talk about how we got past them through, daily 30-minute workouts from home and good nutrition and just community and friendship. So yeah.
I love it. Do you guys have any questions? I mean, I don't want to keep you guys like forever. Like, Caitlin and I could talk all night long.
Yeah, we probably could. I can hear Leighton like screaming. It's fine.
Okay, so maybe we'll wrap it up here. If you guys have any questions, this event page is going to be open, or just message myself or Caitlin. I think we've covered most of it to the extent that we wouldn't overwhelm you guys and like scare you. Like, we like to keep it real. We like to keep it, this is how it is, and that's why we like to touch base on like our 2 different schedules and, the income potential and the time that we put into it, and like how to get started. Abby Witt, that's in our group here today, she actually went ahead and signed up as a coach today. So I'm excited to welcome her. So I'm hoping the rest of you guys jump on board too. But if there is like that fear, or, if there's just one thing that hasn't been answered yet that you guys really want an answer to, just shoot us a message. We are always here. But otherwise, do you have anything else to add, Caitlin?
don't think so. But yeah, just don't hesitate to ask. We'll just keep this open. We might add a few more girls in who want to watch the recordings and stuff like that. But this is recorded, so you can go back and watch it and stuff like that. And there's no like, when you join as a coach, it's not like, I mean, obviously Beachbody has like a full refund, all that stuff like that, but it's not like you sign up and then you're like, oh, I want to quit. And they're like, oh, you have to pay $200 or something like that. Like, it's not like that. It's not like jumping off a bridge and you know what I mean? Like, it's not. So don't let that stress you out so much. And it's not like a cult. Like, we're just friends.
Cult.
Like, it's just a big, kind of like a big sisterhood, you know? It is, you know? I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm so scared, like, to get into, you know, any of that kind of stuff. But it's just like, you know, I literally, this is like the nicest I look on a daily basis. Like,
hey, I haven't showered. This is
know,
just makeup on top of makeup.
Yeah, same.
Whatever.
Same.
Valerie.
So, okay, that's why we have headbands.
Okay, I'm gonna type. Valerie said she can see, but she can't hear, so I'll type to her real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, I have this recorded, so I'll upload it to a YouTube video here and post it in our page here for you guys. But otherwise, I will let you guys go. Thanks for jumping on with us, you guys.
All right.